Everybody knows that the Toronto Raptors are good, but since Kawhi Leonard left, I'm not sure just how many people consider the Raptors legit NBA title contenders. So in today's video, we'll be talking about the Raptors and why they could be a sleeper for this year's NBA championship. Let's get right into it. If you have not already, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm uploading every single week and I really appreciate the support. But anyways, getting right into things, obviously the Toronto Raptors, my team, are the defending NBA champions. But it is never easy for a team to repeat, let alone a team that lost its best player, the finals MVP, in Kawhi Leonard. But even though they did lose Kawhi, and even though it is tough for any team to repeat even without losing their best player, we are going to talk about why I think the Raptors still have a chance to make this year's NBA Finals and even possibly win another championship. The first thing that the Raptors have going for them is that even though Kawhi Leonard is now on the Los Angeles Clippers, every single player on their team has improved from last year. Pascal Siakam has taken on the role of being the star player. Kyle Lowry, even though he is getting up there in age, is looking like he is at an all-time best. All of their other young players that they had who were just kind of role players have taken on bigger roles. They have stepped up. Their veterans are doing their jobs. Just everybody on this Toronto Raptors team is doing their job and they are doing it well and they are showing improvement every single game. I mentioned Pascal Siakam a second ago, but I kind of want to go more in depth on why I think he will be a huge key for the Raptors, not only this year, but going into the future as well. So obviously Pascal Siakam is a very, very good player, and not a lot of teams have a 6'9", 6'10" guy who can handle the ball, who can come off screens, who you can run the offense through. Obviously, Giannis is one of those guys. Obviously, maybe Ben Simmons is one of those guys. LeBron James, those type of guys. These freak athletes who have amazing size, athleticism, and skills at the same time. Pascal Siakam has emerged as one of these freak guys, and obviously he's going to be a very tough matchup no matter what team they go against. Like I said, obviously some other teams, especially once you get deeper into the playoffs, are going to have guys who can stop Pascal Siakam, but the fact that he is as big of a threat as he is, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, he is their guy. He is the Toronto Raptors star player, and I think that he's going to be huge for them this postseason. Another person that I mentioned before that I want to go a little bit more in depth on is Kyle Lowry. Even though he is 34 years old, even though he is definitely out of the physical prime of his career, he is just as productive as he has ever been. Kyle Lowry is the leader of this Raptors team. He's the heart and soul. And even though I would consider Pascal Siakam the best or the star player on this team, Kyle Lowry is definitely the glue that holds the Toronto Raptors together. And he just shows up in the big moments whenever they need him. He is there. Kyle Lowry is that guy for the Raptors. Now, in addition to the Raptors having their two stars in Pascal Siakam and Kyle Lowry, they have a variety of role players who add different things to the team, and I think that they are probably one of the deepest teams in the NBA. Obviously, they have Fred VanVleet, who has emerged as one of the best guards, one of the best secondary guards or backup guards in the NBA. Dude has been killing it since last playoffs. He was a huge part of the Raptors finals run last year, and he has only improved more this year. OG Anunoby is becoming one of my personal favorite players. He just does a little bit of everything. His defense is getting better and better, and I think that he will eventually be, if he isn't already, one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. Also, he has improved a ton on offense, and he is just the ideal role player that you want to have on your team. Norman Powell comes in, does his job, does everything you need him to do. He scores off the bench. He plays defense off the bench. He is just there when you need him to be there. Serge Ibaka, veteran leadership. He is also one of those guys who just goes in, does his job, doesn't do anything special, but he's just there. Like I said, veteran leadership is a huge part for Serge Ibaka. And another guy who's a veteran leader is obviously Marc Gasol, former Defensive Player of the Year. He isn't as good as he was in Memphis, but he is still one of the better centers in the NBA in my opinion. And even though he is inconsistent, and even though last year I don't think that he had the best playoffs, I hope that this year he can really, take a part of that or take advantage of the veteran leadership that he has on this team, and he can really embrace that role. They also have other guys off the bench like Chris Boucher, Terrence Davis, Matt Thomas. They just have so many guys who they can put in this lineup, who they can put out there on the floor, and they will all mesh well together. And a huge part for them having so many role players that contribute is maybe the most important factor for the Raptors, and that is head coach Nick Nurse and his system. Nick Nurse does get recognition around the NBA as being one of the NBA's better coaches, but I still don't think he gets enough recognition because Nick Nurse is special. He is the reason for the Raptors' success, and I'm not saying that they don't have good players, but with the players that they have, they would not be the same if they had a different coach or if they were in a different system, if that makes sense. Nick Nurse has built a system into where they play to the strengths of every single player they have. The Raptors are a team that just meshes perfectly together, and the reason for that is Nick Nurse and his system. Another huge advantage or strength for this Raptors team that I think a lot of people are overlooking is championship experience. Every single player, or almost every single player on this team, has been to an NBA championship. They have won an NBA championship. These guys are veterans. These guys have been here before. These guys know what it takes to win a championship. They know what it takes. They know what the playoff grind is. Just championship experience is huge, and we've seen it in the past where these younger teams who are more talented, who have more talented players, but they don't have that championship experience, they end up falling short in the playoffs. And it's usually these veteran teams that end up making it to the finals. It's usually these guys with leaders who have been there before who end up winning a championship, and that is one thing that the Raptors have specifically over the other teams in the Eastern Conference. Now, if they do get to the finals and they play one of the Western Conference teams, that is a different story, but at least for the Eastern Conference playoffs, I think the championship experience will be huge for the Raptors, and obviously once they get to the finals, if they do get there, it will be huge for them then too. Another huge advantage I think that the Raptors have is that they match up well against every single team they play, and this is again going back to Nick Nurse and his system. He just has a good game plan for every single team they play. Obviously nobody is going to shut down Giannis, but Nick Nurse in last year's playoffs got pretty dang close to shutting down Giannis. He invented the wall type defense that a lot of teams are now using to stop Giannis, and I think that no matter what team they play, no matter what player they play, Nick Nurse is going to put the Raptors in the best situation to win with the players that they have. Anyways, that is my thoughts. I think that the Raptors could potentially be a legit finals contender, and that might just be my personal bias, but for the reasons that I stated in this video, I could definitely see them making a deep playoff run. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section down below whether or not you think the Raptors are legit title contenders. Who is your favorite to win the NBA championship? And of course, remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I will see you in the next one.